Chapter 1576 Battle of Fueying. The next day, Zhang Yi came to the training academy of the Fueying army for the first time. In order to welcome his arrival, the Tianguo team investigation team led by Bailey Chongqing and Ma Wenjun led all 30 trainees, ready to wait at the academy's training ground. In the morning, a silver-gray snowmobile drove to the academy. Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin got off the car. When everyone saw Zhang Yi, they immediately showed excitement that was difficult to conceal. Looking at Zhang Yi's eyes, there was clearly a look of longing. Even those who knew Zhang Yi in the past, under Ma Wenjing's education during this period, their feelings for Zhang Yi have also changed significantly. That kind of look clearly wrote 4 words: respect him, like a god. Such training results made Zhang Yi very satisfied. What he wanted must be a foreign army that was completely loyal to him. And at the critical moment, they can die for him, without hesitation. Ma Wenjing put his right fist on his chest and shouted loudly, for the highest glories. The students behind him, including Bailey Chongqing, made the same action in unison, and the shouts resounded through the sky. For the highest glories. Such a scene made Zhang Yi raise his eyebrows. He didn't know why, but he felt inexplicably familiar. Fortunately, Yang Xinxin had greeted him before coming. Zhang Yi raised his right hand. "You have worked hard." Bailey Chongqing stepped forward and stood with his hands behind his back. "Your Excellency, the 101st training class of the Fueying Force, 30 students have assembled. Please give instructions." Zhang Yi's eyes swept across the scene. He knew many people in it, and of course there were some unfamiliar faces. "Let me see your training results." Zhang Yi was too lazy to speak in an official tone, so he spoke so simply. "Yes." Bailey Chongqing turned around and immediately gave them an order. The next step was to show the training results. For a month, it was completely superstandard military training, and the first thing to show was basic combat literacy. Overcoming obstacles, mixed martial arts. Zhang Yi took out a sofa chair from the alien space and placed it on the ground. He and Yang Xinxin sat down leisurely and quietly admired their performance. Bailey Chongqing is indeed a top soldier. These soldiers in Tianhai City fell into his hands. In just 1 month, they have been trained in a very good manner. Zhang Yi has been training hard for 3 years under Liang Yu's training. He is also an expert in this field. It can be seen that these aliens have made obvious progress and have already acquired the preliminary qualities of a soldier. However, this is not the most important thing. For aliens, the most important thing is the use of superpowers. And the second stage of the performance is superpowers. Zhang Yi called Bailey Chongqing over and said to him, "This kind of dry performance is meaningless. Let them fight each other directly. With him here, no one will die. Even if they are seriously injured, they can be healed quickly. Only actual combat is the best way to improve the strength of aliens." Bailey Chongqing heard this and nodded without hesitation. Then he turned around and began to assign them opponents. You. Fight in a group, go all out, and aim to kill the other side. You two in a group, go over there. You, as the auxiliary aliens, fight 2v2 with the combat aliens. Medical aliens, be ready to treat at any time. Bailey Chongqing arranged everything in less than a minute. The training ground was large enough, and soon they started fighting in groups. Zhang Yi took out some snacks, sat aside with Yang Xinxin, and watched slowly. His eyes were still more on a few familiar faces. Xiao Honglian, Xing Tian, and Lu Dehai. These 3 people are the old, strong men in Tianhai City. Before entering the Fueying army, their ability index was only 5000 to 6000 points. Because Zhang Yi did not give them the conditions to improve their strength, and there was also a component of deliberately suppressing them. Now, with sufficient training resources and professional instructors to guide them, their strength has reached a higher level. Xiao Honglian's opponent is an alien who can control earth and stone. When he was fighting, he directly controlled the earth to tremble, making Xiao Honglian's body unstable. Boom! The ground cracked, and a huge gap appeared under Xiao Honglian's feet. Unless you have the ability to fly, it is easy to be affected when fighting on the ground. Sure enough, Although Xiao Honglian's feet were firmly on the ground, his body could not remain stable due to the movement of the entire land. The alien on the opposite side decisively drew his gun, aimed at Xiao Honglian, and shot. The moment he drew his gun, Xiao Honglian decisively rolled to the side several times in a row. Her right hand pressed on the ground, and red stripes appeared on her arm like magma. The hot power poured into the earth, causing the surrounding ice and snow to melt rapidly. Boom! A stream of magma suddenly erupted from the feet of the alien on the opposite side, rushing straight to his lower body. The alien was so scared that his face turned pale, and he subconsciously stretched out his hand to protect his brother, but the rolling magma still submerged his lower body. Ah! He screamed like a pig being slaughtered, and a raging fire burned on his body, causing serious burns. Quick, quick, save people, save people. The medical team nearby immediately followed, but they did not expect that in this kind of weather, they would need to find a way to put out the fire. It was still Xiao Honglian. Seeing that her opponent had lost the ability to resist, she stretched out her palm towards him, and the flames on the opponent's body were immediately attracted and fell into Xiao Honglian's palm. Xiao Honglian clenched her fists, smiled proudly, and looked at Zhang Yi in the distance. Zhang Yi nodded. Very good. This woman's talent is really something. Xiao Honglian's talent has always been good, at least compared to Uncle Yu. It is only higher, not lower. It's not that her ability is so strong, but this woman is extremely smart. So she will be better at research than ordinary people and use her abilities to the maximum. Yang Xinxin said, train her well, and she will be a captain-level alien in the future. This woman is very cost-effective. Yang Xinxin likes to quantify things, even people. In theory, almost all Delta-level aliens can reach the captain level. It's just that the time and resources required vary, depending on the level of talent. Simply put, Xiao Honglian is more valuable for training. Zhang Yi nodded. Indeed. On the other hand, Lu Dahai's combat effectiveness was also outstanding. He was the object of Zhang Yi's special care. The ability to transform into a fishman gives him extremely strong physical fitness, even on land. He will be even stronger if he enters the deep sea. As for Xing Tian, his individual combat ability is very average compared to his group assistance ability, but he wins in comprehensive ability. Chapter 1570, Testing Loyalty. Xing Tian's opponent was a man with messy long hair. He was a reinforcement-type alien with ordinary abilities. Zhang Yi could tell at a glance that he could improve his speed, strength, and defense through his abilities. This attribute is the most common in the reinforcement system. The man's fighting style was also mainly steady. In the process of fighting Xing Tian seemed to want to maintain the dignity of the leader of the Qingpu base and show his strength in front of Zhang Yi, so his fighting style was much more fierce than usual. He carried 2 huge chopping axes, like a god descending from heaven, wielding the axes vigorously. With only one person added to this Xing Tian Legion, his attack was full of deterrence. However, Zhang Yi's eyes did not linger on him for too long. Instead, he stared at Xing Tian's opponent, and his eyes gradually showed a curious and playful color. He waved to Bailey Chongqing next to him. Bailey Chongqing came over immediately. Captain. Only the members of the Tengu team would call Zhang Yi like this now. Zhang Yi looked at Xing Tian's opponent and asked, "What's the name of that guy? What's his origin?" Bailey Chongqing took a look at the man and said quickly, "His name is Wan Peng, from Qingpu base." "I mean, do you have his personal information?" Bailey Chongqing scratched his head. "No. After the end of the world, most people's information is blank. There is chaos everywhere, and no one can systematically collect all the information of a person." "Interesting." Zhang Yi raised the corner of his mouth. Bailey Chongqing looked at Wan Peng with some curiosity and said incomprehensibly, "Captain, forgive me for my poor eyesight. I don't see anything special about him. There are a lot of people like Wan Peng in the Yanyan Guards of Blizzard City. He may not even be able to reach the level of the investigation team members. The reason why he was selected as the first batch of Fueying team members is simply because Tianhai City has too few talents now." Zhang Yi did not speak, but continued to look at Wan Peng. Bailey Chongqing was right. Wanping was too mediocre. There was almost no bright spot on him, but there was nothing wrong with him. Such a person, thrown into a pile of aliens, is just a real trash and no one will pay attention to him. However, it is precisely because of this that he is the most interesting. It's like an exam. Whether you get 100 points or 0 points, it will attract the teacher's attention the most. The teachers often don't pay much attention to the students in the middle who are around the passing score. But have you ever seen a student who got 60 points in every exam? Zhang Yi is a master of disguise. He is more stable than anyone else and is better at hiding his strength. So after seeing Wanping's fighting style, he smelled a familiar smell. This guy is also hiding his true strength. Xin, the test we talked about before can be carried out now. Zhang Yi turned his head and said to Yang Xin. Yang Xin understood and nodded calmly. Soon, the battle between the aliens over there ended. Wanping was finally defeated by Xing Tian. Xing Tian held a big axe, smiled triumphantly, and did not forget to cast a look of seeking credit to Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi smiled, glanced at Wanping, who was only scratched, then stood up and said to them, "Very good. I have seen the results of your training. Very good, better than I thought. However, compared with the members of the investigation team of each region, you still have a big gap. Not to mention compared with the core layer of aliens. So next you need to work harder. What I need is the best warrior, who can become the sharp blade in my hand." These words not only contained encouragement, but also made them understand how big the gap is between their strength and the elites of the world's top forces. Everyone was happy to hear this, but they did not dare to slack off in their hearts. "Now, let's enter the third stage," Zhang Yi said lightly. Bailey Chongqing looked at Zhang Yi with some surprise. They did not arrange the so-called third stage. But since it is an inspection, it is normal to add some items temporarily. Zhang Yi said, "The name of the third stage is Inquiry." He smiled and scanned all the aliens present. "My men must be absolutely loyal to me. Any disloyalty is absolutely not allowed. Of course, no one is perfect. The purpose of your coming here may be just to become stronger or to get my protection. Now I don't ask too much of you." He slowly raised a finger. "But now, I require you to have the most basic point. You can't have ill intentions towards me or anyone in Tianhai City." As soon as these words came out, the faces of the aliens at the scene changed more or less. Some people were frank, but more people were embarrassed. To put it bluntly, they just came here to make a living, and they can't be said to be absolutely loyal to Zhang Yi at present. Even if Ma Wenjing's ideological education class has some impact, it is impossible to complete brainwashing immediately. Fortunately, Zhang Yi had one last sentence, which made them feel much more at ease. "Who dares to hit a black tank class Ypsilon? Isn't that pure death?" When Zhang Yi said this with a smile, his eyes quickly swept across everyone's faces. When he saw Wanping, this guy also had a look of astonishment on his face, but he quickly regained his composure. He looked extremely normal, but it was because he was too normal that Zhang Yi's suspicion increased.
How?
Could a normal person be impeccable? Being too perfect is actually a defect. Of course, Zhang Yi couldn't be completely sure that he had a problem. But once the seeds of doubt were planted, they would inevitably take root and sprout. So, let's verify it once and for all. He looked at Yang Xin next to him, who showed her ability at the right time. She was wearing a black special low skirt, stepping on brown leather shoes made of cold-proof material, and standing expressionlessly on the snow. A sacred light fell from her head, and the shadow of an angel, with a bit of weirdness in the gorgeousness, slowly emerged behind her.
The
huge six-winged angel, with pairs of wings in red, black, and blue. He held a longbow in his hand, and the expression on his face seemed to be neither smiling nor crying, as if he was pitying the world. Zhang Yi said, "Next, you will come forward one by one to accept the test of conscience. Her ability is very simple. Anyone shot by her arrows will tell the truth. If you have a clear conscience, come forward." This time, Zhang Yi finally caught a fleeting change on Wanping's face. Zhang Yi raised the corner of his mouth and was too lazy to waste time. He stretched out his hand and pointed at Wan Ping through the crowd. You go first. Chapter 1578 Lurker. Zhang Yi smiled at Wan Ping, and everyone's eyes fell on him. Everyone didn't have any special reaction, thinking it was just a simple loyalty test. Wan Ping opened his mouth in surprise, and after meeting Zhang Yi's slightly meaningful gaze, he smiled helplessly.
Then,
the next moment, when everyone was caught off guard, a dazzling light appeared between Wan Ping and Zhang Yi, and a surging and terrifying power erupted in an instant. The strength of that power gave people the feeling that it could destroy the world. The people closest to Wan Ping were stiff all over. They had no doubt that if that power was poured on them, they could be turned into ashes in an instant. At this time, the power was obviously going straight to Zhang Yi. Everyone was stunned, including the members of the Tengu team, including instructor Bailey Chongqing. They didn't react at all, and had no idea what happened at the scene. Everything happened too fast. Only Zhang Yi saw everything clearly. Just when he asked Wan Ping to come over and accept the judgment of Yang Xinxin's arrow of love, he quickly crouched down, and a terrifying supernatural power erupted around him, and then he rushed directly towards Zhang Yi.
Shua.
The dazzling golden light cut through the sky. Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin stood quietly in place, and the 3,000-dimensional gates were centered on him, protecting the two of them layer by layer. The surging energy was like a drop in the ocean after entering the dimensional gate. Zhang Yi looked into the distance, and Wan Ping stopped several kilometers away, staring at him with a playful look. Zhang Yi rubbed his fingers, and his eyes became serious. Black chariot-level alien. With just one blow, the opponent exposed his own strength. At least, he must be a black chariot-level existence with a supernatural power index of 20,000+. Although Zhang Yi noticed that something was wrong with the other party, he never thought that such a master was lurking in Tianhai City. Even if you look at the entire Huashu country, there are very few aliens of the black chariot level. Where did you come from? As a black chariot-level alien, he is the most noble top combat force no matter where he is. Why did he hide in Tianhai City as an ordinary alien for almost a whole year? Zhang Yi couldn't figure this out in his heart, but at this time he knew clearly that the person who came was not kind. Since he didn't know the other party's purpose, he would take him down and then slowly torture him. Mu Yan! Zhang Yi shouted in a low voice. The shadow behind him immediately stood up like a cloth and wrapped Yang Xinxin and others directly into it. Zhang Yi himself immediately transformed into a fighting posture. The combat uniform unfolded. He took a step out and came directly to Wan Ping. At this time, Bailey Chongqing and others in the shadow space were completely confused. They didn't expect that Wan Ping, who had been with them for so long and looked ordinary, actually had such terrible power. Zhang Yi and Wan Ping kept a distance of several hundred meters. All things in the universe were centered around him, and everything was tracking Wan Ping. Once he made any move, Zhang Yi would catch it in advance. Who are you? Zhang Yi did not rush to attack, but asked the question while carefully observing Wan Ping. With a skinny figure, a height of 1.85 meters and messy long hair, this kind of person would be forgotten immediately if thrown into the street. After hearing Zhang Yi's words, Wan Ping raised a strange arc at the corner of his mouth.
Pa, pa,
pa. He suddenly clapped his hands and said to Zhang Yi in an approving tone, "Not bad. You're very good." Zhang Yi frowned slightly. "Oh, what do you mean?" Wan Ping said, "You can find my existence, which proves that you are very good." At this point, he suddenly paused. "Much better than those other guys." Zhang Yi frowned even deeper. Who are the other guys referring to? This sentence contains too much information. Zhang Yi asked, "Are you from Shengjing district? Have they not given up on me yet, and want to teach me a lesson?" Wan Ping's smile became even stronger. He spread his hands, shook his head, and said, No, you are wrong. I come from a place you can't imagine. But it doesn't matter." He shrugged his shoulders. "Since I have exposed my identity, there is no need to keep you." His attitude was contemptuous, as if he didn't take Zhang Yi seriously at all. Zhang Yi sneered, "You want to kill me?" What else? Wan Ping tilted his head and looked at Zhang Yi. If I want to kill a small character like you would have died a year ago. Zhang Yi suddenly felt a chill on his back. He didn't even realize that there was such a powerful monster beside him. In the past year, if the other party had a hint of murderous intent against him, he might have died in his sleep. However, if the other party had stayed in Tianhai City for a year, he would not have known Zhang Yi's current strength. Zhang Yi took a deep breath and put on his right wrist. The silver-gray ring slowly cracked, flowing down like mercury, forming a sharp long knife in his palm. The sword in the tree. It seems that you are not going to explain your origins. Well, I will find the answer myself. The mockery on Wan Ping's face became more intense. He stretched out his right arm, and a golden light emerged in his right hand, and finally turned into a 2-meter-long spear. In Zhang Yi's left eye, a brilliance flashed, and he predicted the trajectory of the opponent's attack. Wan Ping raised the spear and threw it directly at Zhang Yi. The action was as easy as throwing a small stone. But after the spear was released, it directly set off a terrifying storm. The sky above Tianhai City was thunderous. The spear instantly passed through the hundreds of meters of space between the two people. Everything along the way was destroyed, and the earth was deeply cracked. No, to be precise, all the soil and rocks were annihilated. Zhang Yi opened his left hand and calmly resisted the attack with the dimension gate. The terrifying golden spear instantly sank into the dimensional gate and disappeared without a trace in Wan Ping's confident eyes. Not even a drop of water splashed. The smile on Wan Ping's face slowly disappeared, and the confidence turned into confusion and surprise. How could this happen? Your strength should not be able to block my golden spear. Zhang Yi put 2 fingers together and pointed them at Wan Ping. Next, can you block my move? Chapter 1579, The Mysterious Enemy. Wan Ping looked at Zhang Yi in surprise. His body tensed up instantly, and he prepared for defense. The golden energy surged around his body, making him look like a golden Buddha statue. But the next moment, he felt an extremely powerful force coming from the outside of his body, like a huge fist squeezing him tightly into a ball. Crack. The sound of bones being forcibly dislocated came. Even with the golden light protecting his body, Wan Ping's body was still twisted into a weird shape. Cough, cough. He coughed loudly and spit out a mouthful of blood from his throat. How could it be like this? Your strength shouldn't be so strong. Wan Ping roared angrily. He couldn't believe that a person's strength could be improved so quickly in just 1 year. When he first came to Tianhai City, Zhang Yi was just a slightly stronger bug in his eyes. But now, he was crushed by a bug. Maybe now, Zhang Yi should introduce himself again. After absorbing part of the essence of the evil boy and the god of the nest, coupled with his understanding of the psychology, his absorption speed of the essence has been accelerated, and his strength has been improved. Now Zhang Yi's ability index has reached a height of 25,000 points. At this time, if he meets the Prince of Nash again, even if he cannot defeat him, he will definitely have the ability to save his life. Because he is the chaos of absolute defense. Even in the field of the Black Chariot level, he is an extremely powerful existence. After realizing that something was wrong, Wan Ping's body immediately turned into a golden light and then rushed towards the distance. And his goal is Zhang Yi's base camp, his shelter. What a fast speed! Zhang Yi couldn't help but sigh. But no matter how fast it is, it can't exceed teleportation. Swish! Zhang Yi directly opened the dimensional door, and the next time he appeared, he was above Wan Ping. In his hand, the sword in the tree condensed the dark void power, and a huge black hole emerged behind him. The unstable dark void power surged out like a demon, wrapped around his right arm, and climbed up the sword in the tree. Zhang Yi slashed at Wan Ping fiercely with a knife, and a huge black blade cut through the space and instantly came behind Wan Ping. Void slash. Wan Ping's right hand, the golden power changed again, condensed into a huge holy shield, blocking in front of him. His ability seems to be a kind of release power, which can be used to condense into various weapons. Dang! The huge void battle blade slashed on the golden holy shield. Wan Ping's feet were firmly rooted in the ground, but he was also hit by this terrifying force and flew back thousands of meters. The ground under his feet boomed, completely shattered. "Oh, you can actually block my attack." Zhang Yi raised his eyebrows. The opponent's strength seemed to be stronger than he imagined. It seems that it is not a simple matter to capture the opponent alive with one's own ability. After all, compared to his defensive ability, he is not particularly good at attacking. Wan Ping took advantage of the situation and distanced himself from Zhang Yi. He stared at Zhang Yi, and the contempt on his face had disappeared. A person with the ability of the space system can teleport, just like in the past. And now he can teleport up to 4 kilometers. The attack just launched against me did not have any attack trajectory. It seemed to be an indiscriminate attack within a certain area. The attack range of this attack must be limited, and it cannot be launched without limit. So I need to keep a sufficient distance from him. Wan Ping immediately analyzed the characteristics of Zhang Yi's ability. He opened his left hand, and the golden power quickly condensed into a huge longbow. He grasped the void with his right hand, and a golden arrow appeared in his hand. Shinto Bao. Wan Ping quickly pulled the longbow to its full length and placed the golden arrow in his hand on the bowstring. The golden power surged like a storm, and the powerful power gathered on the bowstring, as thick as substance, making it impossible to tell whether it was a weapon transformed by the power or a real bow and arrow. The arrow aimed at Zhang Yi and launched the attack without hesitation. In Zhang Yi's left eye, the trajectory of the arrow emerged. It was clearly an arrow that was shot straight at him, but the trajectory suddenly appeared in thousands of ways, extremely chaotic. Every time Zhang Yi predicted its trajectory, it would evolve into a new trajectory. Time system ability? Or rule system? Time did not allow Zhang Yi to think carefully. The golden arrow had already crossed a golden channel in the air and headed straight for his chest. Zhang Yi stopped moving, but openly opened the 3,000-dimensional gates, defending all directions around him. The golden arrow instantly came to the entrance of the dimensional gate, but it seemed to have self-awareness and directly bypassed the dimensional gate. Swish, swish, swish. The golden arrow flew around the huge circular barrier formed by the dimensional gate at a speed of more than 10 times the speed of Mach. It actually formed a golden sphere outside the dimensional gate. There was only one golden arrow because of its fast speed. It creates the effect of a ball of light. It turns out to be a tracking arrow. Zhang Yi saw through the essence of the arrow at once. He had faced this ability before. Causal weapons are one of the most difficult abilities. Its existence prevents Zhang Yi's space shuttle ability from being deployed, because the instant movement of space shuttle is actually moving from one door to another. For a brief moment, he will appear in the real world for a moment, and in this brief moment, he may be attacked by the golden arrow. Zhang Yi said to the intelligence system calmly, "Lock on the golden arrow and determine its trajectory." The intelligence system quickly gave an answer. The arrow with supernatural power moves at high speed without rules, and its trajectory cannot be determined. Okay. Zhang Yi was helpless and could not ask the intelligence system to do too much. After all, the machine is just a machine. If it can even crack the ability of the Black Chariot, it would be too evil. It seems that I still have to rely on myself. In Zhang Yi's left eye, the light twisted like a vortex. With him as the center, within a radius of 3,000 meters, the flow of time slowed down. Time ability, Swamp of Time. The flying speed of the golden arrow was suddenly slowed down by 30%, and with the prediction ability of tracing of all things, Zhang Yi could also capture its trajectory. Then, Zhang Yi activated the power of Divine Realm Purification, and with a crack, the golden arrow was directly broken. Chapter 15, 80 Tianwei Weapons. Seeing his golden arrow crushed by Zhang Yi, golden light fell from the sky. Wan Ping showed a crazy smile on his face. You have to take so much trouble with one arrow. So what if there are more? He clenched his right hand in the void, and 5 huge golden arrows appeared at the same time. The longbow was fully drawn and flew directly towards Zhang Yi. What a trouble! This is my territory. I don't want to make it too bad. Zhang Yi pointed his fingers like swords at Wan Ping. I was just waiting for the skill CD. What are you waiting for? During the free time of waiting, the power of the void had been condensed. 5 golden arrows came straight to Zhang Yi, and at the tip of Zhang Yi's finger, an extremely dark sphere as big as a marble, surging with unstable energy, burst out in an instant. One strike was a black line that penetrated the space between the two. The golden arrows collided directly with a star-piercing cannon. The terrifying energy collided, and the dazzling light cut the world into 2 different areas. A dazzling golden light and an extremely dark one were like falling into the night. Buzz. The shock waves spread out in all directions with it as the center, sweeping across the myriad things of Wan Ping and Zhang Yi, and sweeping across Tianhai City. The area of more than 10 kilometers in radius was completely destroyed, and all traces of human activities disappeared completely. Fortunately, this is an uninhabited area, and no one lives here, otherwise no one would be alive after that blow just now. Wan Ping found that his moves did not cause much lethality to Zhang Yi, and at this time he already knew in his heart that it would be extremely difficult for him to defeat Zhang Yi, not to mention killing Zhang Yi. So he took a deep breath and gathered his superpowers in his right hand. The golden superpowers surged like waves, and the whistling sound of golden waves appeared behind him. From the golden superpower ocean, he drew out 13 arrows and shot 13 arrows in succession at a speed that was so fast that it was difficult to distinguish with the naked eye, and went straight to Zhang Yi. 13 golden arrows, one after another. The energy stored in the latter will always be stronger than the previous one.
Bang. Bang. Bang.
Each arrow will instantly break into pieces after hitting the arrow in front of it, turning into a golden rain, and this force will be transmitted to the arrow in front. In this way, the 13 arrows gathered all their forces together to form the strongest arrow, shooting at Zhang Yi's dimensional gate. Zhang Yi's eyes couldn't help but become serious. This attack contained extremely terrifying power, and even he had to deal with it seriously. Protect. The dimensional gate blocked in front of him. The golden arrow shot over and instantly penetrated 7 dimensional gates, and then sank into the 8th dimensional gate. A black chariot-level alien, who used all his strength to make the strongest attack, could only do this. But after Wan Ping's attack, he did not have any nostalgia, but chose to turn into a golden light and went straight to Zhang Yi's shelter. From the beginning to the end, his purpose was very clear: to defeat Zhang Yi by any means. Since it was Zhang Yi's home court, he must wreak havoc. It would be best to kill all the people Zhang Yi cares about the most, so that Zhang Yi will have a psychological breakdown, and then he can start. However, when Zhang Yi saw where Wan Ping was going, he did not show too much worry. Because right in front of Wan Ping, the spherical building of the shelter, which was like the top of a European castle, suddenly unfolded. A huge black muzzle had already extended out and was aimed at the direction where Wan Ping was. Lurker sat in the control room, concentrating on the golden light flying in the screen. After Zhang Yi's delay, she had already calculated the opponent's trajectory. At this time, Wan Ping launched the strongest attack, just when the superpower was vacant. She stared at the screen and pressed the launch button without hesitation. The black barrel instantly showed red light, and even the Tianwei weapon specially built by Lurker was overheated because it was subjected to too much power. There was no earth-shaking roar, just a red ray of 50 centimeters thick, penetrating between heaven and earth and shooting at Wan Ping. Wan Ping's attention was all on defending against Zhang Yi's pursuit. He had never expected that those weak, ordinary humans could still cause him harm. It was not until the red light instantly came before his eyes and the terrible power enveloped his body that he first showed a look of fear in his eyes. Boom! In the face of life and death crisis, he burst out with all his strength, with his arms crossed in front of him. The dazzling golden superpowers surged like a storm, and from a distance he looked like a golden sun. The two energies collided with each other, and the power of the Tianwei weapon even exceeded Zhang Yi's star-piercing cannon. At this time, after Wan Ping, who was empty of superpowers, endured this blow, he was directly blown away by the huge energy. His body actually traveled through dozens of kilometers and was directly blasted to the sea near Tianhai City. Zhang Yi chased after him without hesitation and said to Lu Karen, "Start accumulating energy and prepare for the second attack. Wait until the time is right and fire directly." This is Tianhai City, his Zhang Yi's territory. The advantage of geographical location is very important for an alien. The improvement of human combat power is extremely huge, just like the extremely evil boy in Edo City and the monsters in the Ice Flower Swamp. Then Zhang Yi will only become more powerful in Tianhai City. As early as more than a year ago, when he fought against the Tianlong King, he had demonstrated the Tianhai Cannon. And the upgrade at the weapon level has never stopped. Weapons that are too large are not convenient to take out during the battle because of the long energy storage time, so Zhang Yi will not carry them with him. But in Tianhai City, as one of the foundations, there is no problem at all. Aliens are constantly evolving, and weapons in this world are also constantly evolving. After obtaining the material, Yuan, it marks that thermal weapons have entered a new era. As a world-class mechanic, Lu Kuoran will naturally not miss such a good opportunity. Lu Kuoran's face was full of excitement at this time. As an alien who has left the mechanical field and whose combat power is almost negligible, she has just used the Tianwei weapon she made by herself to severely injure an alien of the Black Chariot level. This huge sense of achievement made her excited and trembling all over. Yes, brothers. Lu Karen took a deep breath and immediately began to accumulate energy, ready to launch a second attack at any time. Therefore, the barrel of this weapon only has a lifespan of 30 seconds, and each shot consumes up to 2 tons of yuanshi material. But seeing its power, you will understand that it is all worth it.